Ghana, a country on the west coast of Africa, is known for its vibrant culture, warm hospitality, and stunning natural beauty. From the bustling markets filled with colorful textiles and aromatic spices to the serene beaches that stretch along the Atlantic Ocean, Ghana is a land that captivates the senses. The people of Ghana, with their rich traditions and warm smiles, embody the spirit of this remarkable nation. But beneath its lively exterior lies a history marked by a painful truth, a history that has left an indelible mark on the soul of the nation. Ghana played a significant role in the transatlantic slave trade. The coastal forts and castles, now silent and haunting, once echoed with the cries of countless men, women, and children who were torn from their homeland. For centuries, this beautiful land bore witness to the horrors of human bondage, as these forts became the last memory of Africa for millions of enslaved people. The dungeons, dark and oppressive, tell stories of unimaginable suffering and resilience. As millions of Africans were forcibly taken from their homes and shipped across the Atlantic to the Americas, the impact of this forced migration is still felt today. The commemorative statues and plaques serve as a somber reminder of the past, urging us never to forget the atrocities committed. The legacy of this dark chapter continues to shape Ghana and the world today. Modern Ghana, with its vibrant cities and rich cultural heritage, stands as a testament to the resilience and strength of its people. Visitors from around the globe come to pay their respects and learn about this crucial part of human history, ensuring that the lessons of the past are carried forward into the future. Along Ghana's coastline stand stark reminders of the slave trade, imposing castles and forts built by European powers to facilitate the trade in human lives. These structures, with their formidable walls and strategic locations, were not just military installations, but also centers of commerce and human suffering. One of the most significant of these is Cape Coast Castle, a fortress that has witnessed centuries of history and human tragedy. A UNESCO World Heritage Site that stands as a haunting symbol of the horrors endured by millions. The castle's walls echo with the stories of those who passed through its gates, never to return to their homeland. Built by the Swedish in the 17th century, Cape Coast Castle served as a major slave trading post. Over the years, it changed hands among various European powers, each leaving their mark on its structure and history. Within its walls, men, women, and children were held captive in cramped, unsanitary dungeons, where the air was thick with despair and the cries of the imprisoned echoed through the stone corridors, enduring unimaginable suffering as they awaited their fate. These dungeons, dark and foreboding, were the last African soil many would ever touch. The conditions were horrific, with little light, poor ventilation, and the constant threat of disease. The captives, shackled and dehumanized, faced a grim future, torn from their families and cultures. Today, Cape Coast Castle stands as a solemn reminder of this dark chapter in human history, urging us to remember and reflect on the resilience of those who endured such profound inhumanity. The walls of Cape Coast Castle seem to whisper with the stories of those who were imprisoned within. This castle, standing tall on the coast of Ghana, was once a bustling hub of the transatlantic slave trade. Its walls, now weathered and worn, have witnessed countless tales of suffering and resilience. The echoes of the past are almost palpable as you walk through its corridors, where the air is thick with history and sorrow. Though centuries have passed, the pain and resilience of the enslaved Africans resonate through the ages. The old slave quarters, now empty and silent, once held the cries and whispers of those who were torn from their homeland. These quarters, cramped and dark, were a stark contrast to the vibrant lives the enslaved once knew. The abandoned fort with its crumbling walls stands as a silent witness to the atrocities committed within its confines. One such story is that of Aboa, a young woman who was captured and brought to the castle. Aboa, like many others, was ripped from her family and forced into a life of unimaginable hardship. Yet, even in the face of such adversity, she held on to her hope and courage. Her eyes, filled with determination, looked out over the ocean, dreaming of freedom and a return to her homeland. Aboa's spirit, however, remained unbroken. Despite the chains that bound her, her spirit soared free. She inspired those around her with her unwavering resolve and strength. Her story is one of defiance and resilience, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. Aboa's unyielding spirit was a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. She managed to escape from the castle and led her people to freedom. Her escape was a daring and dangerous endeavor, but Aboa's courage knew no bounds. She navigated through treacherous terrain, evading capture at every turn. Her leadership and bravery inspired others to follow her, and together they forged a path to freedom. Aboa's escape was not just a personal victory, but a triumph for all those who yearned for liberation. Her story, passed down through generations, stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who endured the horrors of the slave trade. Today, her legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of her descendants. The community gathers to honor her memory, celebrating their heritage and the strength of their ancestors. Elders recount her tale, ensuring that the bravery and resilience of Aboa and countless others are never forgotten. Her story is a powerful reminder of the enduring human spirit and the unbreakable bonds of community and heritage. The transatlantic slave trade left an indelible mark on Ghana. The country was drained of its human capital, with millions of its strongest and most capable individuals taken away. This loss had a devastating impact on Ghana's social, economic, and political development, leaving a void that continues to be felt today. The slave trade also fueled ethnic tensions and conflicts, as some African groups were complicit in capturing and selling others to European traders. The impact of the transatlantic slave trade extended far beyond the shores of Africa. The forced migration of millions of Africans to the Americas led to the development of new cultures, economies, and societies. It also gave rise to the African diaspora, a global community of people of African descent who share a common heritage rooted in the experience of slavery and resilience. However, the legacy of the slave trade also includes the enduring injustices of racism, inequality, and discrimination that continue to plague societies around the world. Remembering and acknowledging the horrors of the slave trade is crucial for healing the wounds of the past and building a more just and equitable future. By confronting this dark chapter in human history, we can learn from the mistakes of the past and work towards dismantling the systems of oppression that continue to marginalize and disenfranchise people of African descent. Education plays a vital role in reconciliation and healing. By teaching future generations about the transatlantic slave trade, its causes, consequences, and enduring legacy, we can foster empathy, understanding, and a commitment to justice. Open and honest dialogue about this difficult history is essential for breaking down the walls of prejudice and building bridges of understanding between people of different backgrounds. The call for justice and reparations for the transatlantic slave trade is gaining momentum globally. Many argue that the descendants of enslaved Africans are owed reparations for the centuries of exploitation and oppression suffered by their ancestors. This call for reparations is not about seeking vengeance, but rather about acknowledging the lasting harm caused by slavery and taking concrete steps to address the systemic inequalities that persist today. Remembering that transatlantic slave trade is not just the responsibility of those directly affected by it. It is a shared responsibility for all of humanity. By acknowledging the horrors of the past, learning from the mistakes that were made, and working together to create a more just and equitable world, we can honor the memory of those who suffered under the brutal system of slavery and ensure that such atrocities are never repeated.